Good morning / evening, Elite Patriots. Today's August 27, 2021, 12:57 a.m. Central Time. I don't know what I'm going to name this video, but it's just going to be me talking about random stuff. Politics, what happened yesterday, Biden, whatever. Shit that's germane to my channel, if you will. But also, I am blessed to have a platform in which I am able to speak freely, quote, privately, with people whom I know are not going to ream me, unlike putting out a YouTube video and having the whole world hear it, or Twitter, or something of that nature. So I'm going to use this platform temporarily for a moment to talk. Everybody's asleep and whatnot. I've been scanning Twitter and stuff looking for political responses to what happened yesterday, specifically Democrats, and in short of going onto their Twitter accounts, it looks like, because they're not in my feed, I don't know what anyone has said on the Democrat Party line, if you will. I know Omar decided to, she's in my timeline for some reason, decided to tweet a picture of the Twin Towers. So that was cute. I can't believe that we are where we are. Not just in Afghanistan. I mean, in general. Like, for example, the House came back this week, right? They passed H.R. 4, which was that stupid voting rights bullshit, which actually I'll bring up for fun, I think, as a summary, so I'll read the summary. But, they also passed Bernie Sanders' $3 trillion plus, it's going to turn out to like $5 trillion situation to discuss it, revise it type of situation. They didn't officially pass anything. So their priorities are excellent. The Senate doesn't come back until September 9th, I believe, officially at noon. I don't think that's a pro forma session. I believe that's when they come back. Who knows what they're going to talk about. So Capitol Hill is a joke, as usual. And it's interesting, actually, an Elite Patriot sent me an article that was talking about the cop at Capitol Hill that shot Ashley Babbitt, came out talking today, or yesterday, or whenever. And then I saw on Twitter, I meant to click on it, it has since left my feed, 5 or 6 other cops that attended, if you will, or were at the Capitol that day during January 6th, came out talking and stuff too. Talk about trying to change the subject. I think it's convenient they came out talking after Kabul's bombings happen. But that's beside the point. And of course, Capitol Hill's focused on doing January 6th hearings, and they're sending out subpoenas regarding what Trump said and who he talked to and what was said and meow, meow, meow. January 6th was horrible. January 6th was a joke. The FBI even came out and said it was not some big conspiracy orchestrated by a group. It was just a random group of people, which anyone in their right mind knew that was the case. Yes, there was probably a group of people that went there with ill intent, maybe, but most of those people were let in by Capitol Hill police, if you watched any of the footage. And that whole situation is a joke. I'm not going to even discuss it. It's a joke. And in fact, I still root for the fact it happened, because it disturbed all their little safe spaces, and it sits in their head, and it disturbs all of them, and I like it. Um, but yeah, so Capitol Hill has priorities straight, right? Republicans are obviously, besides calling on Biden to resign or Harris to invoke the 25th Amendment, stuff like that, they're wanting to do hearings on what happened with Afghanistan, but they don't control the House or the Senate. So unless the Democrats have some sort of moral change in their minds, I don't foresee that happening necessarily. Yeah. But this country's just gone to shit. And yesterday was just kind of like a nail in the coffin situation. I woke up a little late. So I did get some sleep last night. And like within 10 minutes of that bomb going off, I had messages when I woke up from so many people blowing up my Google account, Voice or whatever, Google Voice, people texting me. I missed phone calls. I had missed Skype messages, some other visual, whatever you want to call it. There's some other programs out there I don't even want to get into because one of them's known, but anyway. Just missed everything. Voicemails from people that are all in Afghanistan that I've either been in contact with, trying to help them, whatever, emails. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I woke up and I had so much to read and listen to that it was not a happy day. Hearing people cry because they know they don't have that their hope for getting out has basically gone up in flames, because who knows, I don't know. I haven't been in contact with anybody. Kind of cut ties, if you will, temporarily for sanity purposes with stuff, just kind of ignoring it. But I don't know what they're doing right now in Kabul with the airport, and I basically just kind of messaged everybody back that I don't know if they reopen gates, if they have gates open. I don't know at all what's going on there, so I have no suggestions for these people. But it's been exhausting, and a small part of me wishes that I had not started this endeavor, trying to get people out. But it was the right thing to do because I was able to do it, so I did it. But a small part of me wishes I hadn't, because everybody's voice is in my head that was upset, and it is causing problems with me. So yeah, that's been fun. But I can't imagine I honestly can't. I can't imagine being one of the families that got the knock on the door yesterday from any of these, 13 service members, 12 or was it 13? It was 12 Marines, 1 Navy. I think that's right. I can't remember. Anyway, but to get that knock on the door, just for this specific instance, because of how it went down, because it never should have happened. This whole situation never should have happened. So it was absolutely avoidable, I guess. So to get a knock on the door for one of those deaths because of this specific deployment, I can't imagine the rage I would have for everything. I mean, the rage would be unbelievable. But I cannot imagine being one of those families. Thinking about it makes me nauseous. But none of this had to happen this way. Everybody knows that. And closing Bagram Air Base, I mean, what a joke. If it's what Secretary of Defense Austin, what he claimed was true, that they had to make a choice between keeping Bagram or protecting the embassy, that was why they left the airbase, was because they chose the embassy instead. They didn't have enough boots on the ground to do both. Is probably the most ridiculous, not only decision, but ridiculous reasoning I've ever heard. So there's no strategic thought process behind that. It was just, hey, we have one or the other. And it's like, if that was your pick, was to protect the embassy, like, I don't even understand. That doesn't even make sense to me. Does that mean the embassy was under attack? I mean, what brought you to believe protecting the embassy was even needed, would be my question. And we had like 1,500 boots on the ground. You're telling me all 1,500 people went to the embassy? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So none of this makes any sense. All of it's illogical. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's so illogical. But I've been watching the news and stuff, obviously, all day for things. And hearing people's different opinions or thoughts, from former military to analysts and everything else. And people who think we should reopen Bagram Air Base, which is not a good idea at all at this point, because it has been raided. It has been vacant from us for too long. It could be booby-trapped, for lack of a better term. I mean, who knows who's using it? There's no intelligence over there, at least publicly, about who might be occupying it right now. So you'd have to kick some people out. I mean, that would just be a disaster to try and do that. But it's like, what are your options now? And we plan on leaving the 31st, which is only in a few days. And with that being said, some military has already left, right? I already told you guys that. So we're going to be having to evacuate more military. Excuse me. Soon, if we truly do plan on getting out the 31st. So that's interesting. So they're going to have less personnel on the ground to protect things. So it's like they might as well just shut their entire endeavor down and call it quits and just start sending everybody home or wherever they're going. Because I don't foresee anything good coming from this. And trusting I'll tell you this. The Taliban situation is particularly disturbing to me, and I'll explain why. First of all, CBS News had an interview with their spokesperson, and regardless of what was said in the interview, the fact the interview took place is disturbing on its own. The fact we relied on them for security is ridiculous. Their reasoning is because we have to deal with the Taliban now because they've taken over the city. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You don't have to do that shit at all. But it's disturbing, especially disturbing because, I mean, we were blowing these people away. We were shooting these people for 20 years. These people released prisoners from Bagram Air Base that were not nice people. And to think some of the people that I dealt with are now back out is disturbing. But it's the whole situation trying to legitimize the Taliban, not just as a government, but as even being legitimate at all, existing and being legitimate at all, disturbs me to my core. Interrogating those fighters and hearing the things they had to say, knowing the things they did or were planning to do. Even you guys can go by just random reports. I'm not necessarily talking about what came out during interrogations, but you guys know what they were capable of and the things they pulled. You can just Google it. Just knowing that and knowing that they are now being legitimized around the world practically makes me fucking nauseous and is eating away at me. It's eaten away at a lot of veterans. So yeah, that part is really obnoxious. Really obnoxious to see these people on national news, Western media, CBS to be particular. I believe Trey Yanks from Fox News met with the guy, talked to him a little bit, whoever their spokesperson is. So they are being held on a different pedestal these days, obviously. And that is obnoxious. These people are not very bright. And I've said that before. They're not very bright. Even their spokesperson, the interview readouts that I've seen, I haven't actually seen much of full interviews, if you will. I did see the other day about us having consequences if we stayed past the 31st. Saw that snippet. But that wasn't a Western media. I think that was someone over there. I'm not sure. Might have been Western media. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It is fucking weird. To hear about these guys' intentions in what I did, it's like those intentions couldn't have changed. They're the same people, and they're capable of such ugliness. And I have no idea how things are going to be. I am pretty sure that once we leave, they're going to return to their old ways. I would say that. But I don't know for sure how they will function, especially if they're legitimized. They may try and keep Kabul, the people in Kabul, that is, give them fairly decent rights, if you will, lack of a better term, the females and everything. They won't be overkill in Kabul, I don't think, because that's where things would get out easier via social media or media saying this is what's going on, even though there's shit going on now. But it would be easier for things to be reported out of Kabul than other provinces that are so much more vacant, lack of a better term, spread out too. It would be more difficult to report what's happening in those areas unless someone records it, that's living there and uploads it. I do think we will see revenge killings and stuff, but someone on my YouTube channel did make a good point that it's possible a lot of that footage will be filtered. They actually said censored, but filtered out of social media and stuff. But it'll all be on the dark web. It'll just be a matter of who decides to pass it along. So that should be fun. But our border being open, our southern border being wide open, and then Biden says today, and he said the other day too, we have, this isn't verbatim, we have other terrorist threats that we need to focus on. Things, and he did say today, ones that are closer to us. Well, with that being said, you fucking reject, why is our southern border open? If our southern border is wide open, come on, man. What is this guy thinking? What is this administration thinking? What are the Democrats thinking about anything? How could you go along with this? I mean, you'd have to hate America and hate the people in America enough to agree to any of this stuff. The policies, the foreign policies, domestic, the legislation that's going through. I mean, these people at Capitol Hill are not retarded. They've all been there forever. And the Crypt Keeper, fucking Pelosi's been there her whole life. I mean, these people are second generation. Look at Pelosi. Her father was in the legislative branch. So Cheney's dad was. I mean, he was obviously even more than that. So, I mean, you're talking about second generation assholes that are sitting up at Capitol Hill. They know the consequences of this stuff. They're not stupid, but they're doing it anyway. And that's crazy. Between prices going up, crime, open border, now this Afghanistan situation, this guy's a disaster site. But the worst part is, everybody says Biden's not running the show. Okay, that may be the case. But the people that are around him, like, who is running the show? And because they are running this place into the ground, running everything into the ground. Someone severely hates America up in the White House. I mean, severely. Like, they have to. You have to absolutely hate this country to allow what's happening to it. The Democrats have nothing good to run on for the midterms. They are screwed. They've screwed themselves big time. I mean, what are they gonna run on? What positivity are they gonna run on? The only thing they could run on is blowing up our budget and turning us into a socialist country by passing this spending shit. And the problem is we won't see immediate, besides maybe the markets, we won't see immediate effect, true effects, just like with Obamacare. They passed Obamacare, everybody loved it because everybody's going to get insurance. But it took a few years for shit to kick in and for people to notice, oh, my premiums are higher. Oh, I didn't get to see my doctor anymore. Oh, these people dropped me. Oh, I have a new network. Oh, this and that. You know, it took a few years for people to realize that was a shit program. It's going to be the same way with these spending things. Oh, I get to have free childcare and I get free money from the government because I have a kid. You know, free education, all this shit. So they have that to run on, and the ignorant people will take the bait. And the other thing they have to run on is this, if they pass it, voting rights. So the only thing, and the voting rights aren't voting, I mean, they're taking away constitutional, the state's rights, constitutional rights to run their own elections. They're blurring the line and actually preventing the states from doing certain things like voter ID. So they're going to run on Republicans are trying to take away your voting rights. They're racist. And they are basically against, you know, all the things that the $1 trillion thing will do. They're against having your freedoms as far as education, and they're against your jobs because they don't believe you should have pre-K. Like, just stupid slogans will come out of that type of shit. Republicans bad, we're good, we gave you everything this past 2 years. And people will forget about this Afghanistan thing, which is sad. Veterans won't forget, and we're a big population. But I mean, the public will. Soon as that free money starts rolling in, they're going to forget Afghanistan even existed. They will be fed lies, as usual, from the Democrat Party and this White House. People's priorities will shift. Not that Afghanistan should be a priority, I'm just saying. But inflation's a big one. And that is definitely going to continue and go up if this shit passes. But the logic in the Democrat Party, now they're begging OPEC to put more fucking shit out because our gas prices are going to skyrocket here once our shit dries up. But they won't do it. They won't drill here. But they're going to, because of the, you know, green life, but yet you're begging somebody else to do your dirty work, basically, is hysterical. I mean, you got to be really dumb to be making the decisions they are in every aspect that America touches. Every aspect, whether it be domestic or foreign policy, these people are fucking up left and right. It's like, it's like they're playing a game of Tropico. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it is simply a game where you pick a character and it's one of those, I don't remember the term, but it's one of those games where you pick a country or whatever the fuck and you run it and you build this and build that, and fires can be set and you have to put them out, and like you have shipments go in and out and you set things, so like you basically run the economy and stuff. It's like they're playing Tropico and they've made the worst decisions ever and everything's going to shit. And they just think that if something goes to shit far enough, that they can hit reset or something. It's like they're playing a game. They're not actually using reality. Well, if this goes to shit, we can fix it doing this. And their fixes aren't very good either. Tell you what, I miss Trump a lot. A lot. He was funny too. But Biden's not even Biden. Everything is shit. And I'm sick of it. And I swear to God, if I have to hear one more person cry because they can't get out of Afghanistan, I am going to lose my mind. That's all I gotta say, I guess. I rambled enough. If anyone even made it through this video, congratulations. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great morning.